Okay, we have arrived. This is where I've found Sasquatch footprints in the past. We're gonna go ahead and park the bike, walk in here, and just do a little exploration. And there are some woods behind me, but I didn't see a whole lot coming in. But I see a stick in the mud out here. It could just be growing out there. But it stinks like bird poop. We're gonna go check it out. So these are just observances here, but I saw this line coming in. What came down to the water here. But what I thought is weird is that in the interruption, there is a sharp piece of glass here. It's almost like making an example of it, you know? On my bike, it's gonna be hard to pull it out. God, that goose is vocal all of a sudden. You see this shape? Could be random, but see, there's lots of whys about and stuff, so you got to try to see, okay, what was manipulated, what wasn't, you know? Like this, for instance, that looks like the shape I've been finding. I'm saying I'm finding this V constantly this spring everywhere. I've found it scratched in the dirt. I've found it made out of 2 sticks. I've found it made out of a broken stick. That's 2 sticks, but it's just kind of a coincidence that it's sitting like that. And not only that, I think they're at this beach because of what I can see over here. So I just started paying close attention to the sticks, because you see there's a line here where the sticks are going to naturally lay. You know what I mean? When the water level is just pushing the waves up. So then you have to take that into consideration. Like, look at this. That's, you know, it's lifted up and moved, but it makes a V shape. Look at this here. Lifted up and moved, but it makes the V shape. So that's a potential pattern right there. Little sandpiper getting loud. Startled me. So I'm going too fast to even watch, but it's just kind of funny. Like, here's the sticks moved, and there's this. Look at here. Here's an X made out of that. Look, and here's another one. A stick moved to make a V. Okay? You don't just step on a stick and have it fall in a perfectly friggin' 23-degree angle. You know? So it's just like potentials. But here's another shape. It's like the Y is here, but then they've also made that open V out of it, out of the end. I mean, seriously, that could be the subtle language that they speak in. It's just, there's just so many things down here. Oh, is this what we were looking for? Nope. A lot of people walking through the mud down here. What you see here could have been done by peeps, you know, because there's a lot of prints, but might have been you-know-who and people just coming to check it out. There's that one out in the water. There's this guy here, jammed in. There's some digging. Crayfish claws, they could have been eaten. There's a lot of claws right here. You see, like a V shape kind of made with that removal. It's all just potentials. But you gotta notice those subtle things, you know. I think the bobber's gonna go on this guy. claws. And just the claws. It's like they're ripping off the claws, the arms, and just gulp, crunching them up. You know? If you see a seagull eating this many crayfish, for one, it's going to be a rarity that there are this many here. You know? But look at the massive amount of claws just sitting here on this beach. Just the arms. Just the arms. So many. Look at that right there. What is that, 20 seconds? I wish they were arrowheads. But you see how many are here? That's Sasquatch food right there. That's dinner. They're probably swimming right in the water and just swimming them down, catching them, you know. I've seen this symbol left at my gifting station. I had an X. It made an X, and then a little bit later, what happened? It made an X, and then it got messed up. Then I made an X, and it turned it into that long X. It turned it into this one. That's like, I don't know what you call that, like a wide X. It did that, and then the next time it manipulated them, it did that. I was like, what the heck? I'll leave that as a little mini tribute to Sasquatch. Peeled bark stick right here with the adornment. Right here, peeled bark. Is this their religion? Does this mean something to them? You know what I mean? They're practicing the same ritualistic things across the country at the same time of the year. Is that possible? I've theorized it, I've said it. What's doing this? What made these two marks too? That's weird. But they're out here messing with stuff, assuredly. It's cool to see the water trickling in right here. The creek just having a breakthrough, kind of forging its own path right through the landscape. There's some bare feet. Yeah, I think you know what I think that could be. Because there is a lot of glass down here. You don't want to get cut. Yeah, I mean, I know they got to be walking through here. There you go. It's got the arch, the mid-tarsal. Looks like it though. They like to get that mud in their toes, you know? That's a squishy print. Maybe there's two of them. Two different sizes. That one looks smaller than this. It's hard to tell because the mud spreads it out, but that looks like some toes. Pretty good right there. Some Bigfoot toes. Look at this guy. Oh yeah, because like look at how long that toe is. Holy crap. That is a weird looking print. That toe is so long. Right there. Damn, I can't get it right in the sun. Look how good this one is. That's a really good print right there. I say a size 9 shoe is like a 6 foot, 350 pound plus Sasquatch. So you see here, walking right into the river with their bare feet. Those are good, those are castable. And it does look like 2 different sizes. This one's accidentally stopped the video, but I'm got some great Sasquatch prints down here at the edge of the creek coming into the lake. And they're different sizes, it looks like. Still got something in my hand. This one's about as long as my hand is. Could be mother and child down here. Mother and child. Mama Bigfoot, baby Bigfoot. Down here eating crayfish at the creek. Found so many claws over there. Really beautiful spot here. Okay, I'm on the other side. I found the trackway here. I think they walked directly over, probably over this sand hill, just because the good tracks are picking up right here. But those are going in deep. Shoes are just telling you, 190, and I'm not going in half that deep. Print there, that's so castable. That is really good. That is a really perfect example of a castable print. Look at the angle of the foot on that. You don't see humans walking like that with the twist of the foot. The heel is virtually flat, and that front of that foot is twisted. I'm hoping this shows up well enough on the video, but that is amazing. That is a really flexible foot right there. This way, right from the middle. Wow. Wow. Obviously a dog has stepped in this after the fact, but nevertheless, this is part of the trackway here. Amazing prints. That's the best example right there of a castable print, except this would make a really good cast too, aside from the dog in it. Would still be worthwhile to have. Wow. And look, they're not in a straight line. I just want you to understand they're not in an exact straight line. This one's facing this way, that one's facing that way, this one's here, the next one's facing right, the next one is facing left, the next one is offset to the right, the next one is way over here. Just these are not Homo sapiens. We would not be sinking in the mud. Look how deep that is. That is sunk in there 5 inches. Wow. Wow. This is that oh no. Let's see. Okay, so if you are in that mud, you can sink in that deep with a shoe, because that's super soupy mud. Well, it's hard to tell. That looks like a barefoot shoe print. Let's see, that's a left foot, that is a right. Oh, I think they stepped here, then here, and came out. So that's part of the Sasquatch trackway, or he stepped in the Sasquatch track, actually, is what happened when the guy came. There's a bunch of people tracks that went through here. These barefoot ones, definitely looking squatchy. Let's see. These are shoes. These are people. Okay. It's just amazing having them out here. But you see, you're really going to have a keen eye to follow the trackway and discern what's going on and see the ones with the mid-tarsal break and then follow it back to make sure it's... And these are some offset footprints, guys. Look at these. That's them. So right, left, splayed out. They're not in a straight line. And that does not look human either. That is a big hip. That's a big flexible hip width to be able to stand here and then turn your foot inwards that way. That is an awkward motion for my hip to make to even meet those, and then to go again to the right. You know what I mean? I'm like fully stretched out, like flexed just to hold my posture right now. This is definitely not a human. I don't know what they are, but they walk on 2 feet. And they're out here. That weird offset step is really strange. Really strange. Look at the bottle was used. It looks like the bottle was used actually to make the circles here. There's concentric circles. Look at the bottle with the fishing line. Sasquatch is telling people to clean up. I'm telling you, Sasquatch is telling people to clean up. I'm serious. Dude, I mean, come on. I really think Bigfoot did this. Made these circles, left that bottle. I saw it at another lake I was at. There was a feather intertwined to this stick conglomeration like this with all this string wrapped around it. And I was just like, damn, did they do that? You see this symbol? They do that too. Could just be coincidence. But this angle is almost like, it's like that angle of the circle. You know what I mean? Almost perfect. There's another one in there. I don't know, like how their mind works. I think this is Bigfoot art. Right here in the sand next to the lake with these circles drawn on the sand by the bottle. Okay, I've seen this before. I know what this is. This is clay that has been brought out of the lake. Somebody had to swim in this mucky crap to get this. This is not normal. Okay, you see this is clay here. But this is something the Bigfoot have been playing with. And they've left their finger marks in it. There's a handprint right there. That's a juvenile Sasquatch handprint in clay at the lake's edge. Part of this mixture, they got pulled out and you can see the hands have left marks here. It's been played with. But there's residual finger marks. There's somewhat of dermal ridges on this one, just slightly. It's maybe not quite there, just on that curve. It's almost. So amazing. But I've seen that before, and that's really interesting. Look what I just found. I was saying earlier that I've seen that V symbol scratched into the sand before. I mean, this is it. I don't know. There's some extra marks here, but it's just kind of interesting and ironic, you know? I don't know, it's their environment, you know? It's right next to these geese tracks, too. Is this representative of the return of, like, a good goose flock, you know, for them to eat? Who knows? But that's a really interesting thing to think about, honestly. Because I keep seeing it, and I keep thinking, why? What does this mean? Why are they doing this all the time? Maybe it's a celebratory thing. Maybe they are just like, I mean, geese fly in a V pattern. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. There's even an ornate looking V in some regard there. That's kind of interesting, though, that scratched in. And that there's the goose tracks right there. They look like a similar shape. I think I'm onto something, guys, but thanks for watching. It's been a really cool adventure down here at the lake. See if I can find anything else before I go, but otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.